welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with yet another video about historical places located in the Malda district of West Bengal. So today I'm in Gaur or Gauda, which is an archaeological site located in the Malda district in the northern part of West Bengal. So let me first begin with this place called Gaur and what is this place and why is it so important. So Gaur was basically a kingdom during very long ago, after the Gupta period, the Gupta Empire. Gaur was identified or given the importance of a kingdom, and the ruler of Gaur, the founder of Gaur at that time was King Shashanka, who was a prominent ruler of Bengal at that time, and the Bengali calendar also starts with the ruler of Gaur. So Shashanka was the ruler of Gaur at that time, and he founded this place and gave it the prominence and importance and made it the capital of his empire when he ruled the Bengal. So Shashanka ruled Bengal from the 590 to the 625 period, and that time Gaur was his capital. And as we all know, soon after Shashanka's followers, the successors of Shashanka, couldn't maintain that very strong way he was ruling this place and couldn't expand, and the empire very soon collapsed. After that, as we all know, the Muslim rule in India started, the Delhi Sultanate. So as I told in my previous video of Bangar, the Bengal ruler of the Delhi Sultanate was Bakhtiyar Khilji. So like every place he came here to and conquered Gaur and made it the capital of his establishment. And the ruins here in Gaur which are there are mostly from the Bengali Sultanate, which is during the Delhi Sultanate period. So Bakhtiyar Khilji used this as their capital for a few years and then shifted their capital again. And then before Bakhtiyar Khilji, there was the Pal period, where many things developed, like Bengali scripts, language, and the way we wrote, what we wrote, everything. And that time Pal Empire also gave Gaur a lot of importance, and it rose to its prominence. It was the capital at that time too. And then came the Sen Empire, or the Senas. Now Senas renamed Gaur as Lucknowty because we wanted to name it in the order of their army called the Lakshman Sena. So that's why this place is also known, or prominently known, as Lucknowty. So soon after that, as I told you, Bakhtiyar Khilji came here, and then as we all know, after the Delhi Sultanate, we had the Mughals here who ruled India for a long period of time. So during the Mughal rule, everyone came here, and Humayun himself had come here and had ruled this place, made this capital for few years, and this place was distinguished over. Everything got over here once when there was a plague outbreak over here, and very slowly what happened is Gaur was getting exhausted. All its resources got exhausted, and the Muslim rulers, the people who came much after this place was founded, were leaving this place and going, and they were basically shifting their capital from this place to Delhi. Slowly they were just shifting, and Gaur had lost all its importance. And the place where Gaur completely became this old archaeological site was when there was a plague outbreak here a few hundred years ago. And after the plague outbreak, it led to the death of many people living here, including the rulers, the sultans, whoever ruled this place. And soon after that, the river Ganga was basically next to the Gaur city, or the Gaur kingdom that time, as we call it. So the river Ganga also changed its course, and what happened next was the strategic location of Gaur just got delocated, and this place started losing its importance because the fertile lands, they were no longer fertile because the river changed its course, and everything was just left. At that time, the people just wanted to leave this place and go, and after this outbreak, there were not many people left. A few were left, and then these beautiful monuments created by the old people, the Mughals, the Bengali Sultanate people, and such, all just became some archaeological buildings. So let me begin with the introduction of these monuments. So Gaur is basically a small area, and that time I guess it used to be much larger, but now it's just a small province kind of area where we have an archaeological site within which there are all the archaeological places and everything which are built by the Bengali Sultanate rulers. So first, what you can see behind me is the Chika or Chamkan mosque, which is an ancient mosque built during the Bengali Sultanate period. So this mosque is really old, and it was built from the ruins of a Hindu Vedic temple. There are few bricks which still tell us it was a Hindu Vedic temple. There are some proofs, and it's mentioned over here that it was built from a Hindu temple using the bricks of a Hindu temple. And then after that, this place is known as the Chika Masjid or Chika Mosque because this place was infested by bats. Bats caused infestation here before its clearance, and that's why this place is called the Chika Masjid. And this place is claimed to be a Hindu temple, which the Archaeological Survey has, of course, admitted that the Muslim rulers made this with the bricks of a Hindu temple. And then it's also, suspected to be a Muslim because there are some, covers and everything here, some burial site next to this place, which actually looks like a burial site, but there's no solid evidence that it is a burial site. So going to the next one, I will be coming very soon once I reach there, and I'll be back and tell you what's that next place. So everyone, this is the next location or the next site, and this is a single dome structure which was used as an eastern gate to the citadel, which was basically the entrance here, and it was built by Sultan Hussain Shah. He built this structure and he used this as a gate. Now, this structure signifies a lot about the architecture at that time, the domes. This is a different kind of dome. It has few steps and it's exactly not a semicircle. It's like a bit of an oval kind of thing. And those are the bricks, they're so little. And that side, we can see there are some beautiful works. If you could please zoom in and show. Yeah, so we can see those small works which are painted over there, and here it's like a boundary, and I suspect it, I'm not sure, it's just my personal opinion or personal guessing, that it might have been a boundary because this was used as a gate, so that could have been the boundary to the entrance of the citadel. So let's go to the next location now. Site, and this was a royal entrance used by Shah Shuja's reign, which was built in the 1655 AD. And there was another story to this which probably broke because it's really old, 1655 AD, and it's very now. So it probably broke, and that next story was used as a Nakar Khana or the drummer's chamber. And this was an eastern which led to the other ramparts of Kort, and it was used by Shah Shuja who built it. And it was basically used more like a main entrance or the royal entrance. Let's go to the next one. Okay, everyone. So this is the death site, and it's known as the Qadam Rasool Mosque because there's the footprint of Prophet Muhammad inside the mosque, and there are, people are sitting over there, and you can just go check out if you want. And it's beautifully ornamented, and it's gorgeous. The tombs and everything, the structure, everything tells a story with it. So let's go inside. There is a mausoleum or the tomb. Here is the garden here maintained by the Horticulture Department of the Archaeological Survey of India. This is the entrance to the mosque, and here we have the tomb of Fateh Khan, and he was sent by his general Humayun here to kill one of the persons, Shuja, who was actually conspiring against him and planning to take over the dynasty from him. And it is believed at that spot he vomited blood and died. So there's a tomb inside, and there are people sitting there. You can go visit anywhere. So let's go to the next one. So this is the next location, next site, and this is basically a wall which is very, very thick. I don't know the measurement, and this used to cover the palace of the Gold Kingdom, and it used to cover an area of 138 acres, and it's extremely big. I don't know how far it goes, and maybe it spreads for a few kilometers, and I'm not in the condition to walk that much now. So you can see how tall this is, and then at the top there are some beautiful designs which are there. That side of the wall is still intact, but here it's broken over there. It's really old. So let's go to the next one now. Hey everyone, so inside that very thick wall, the 138 acres I was talking about is this is a part of that, and this is like the army base of the king's palace, which is in complete ruins now. There's no trace of the palace, I guess. You can take a look at it. And this was very deep into the ground, and after that the Archaeological Survey of India dug this place and they took this out, and then they found, that's how you can see the ground. This is below the ground level, so this is basically, it was under the ground, and here they've told they found some gold coins which was then given to the government of West Bengal, and this place was also known as Jannatabad. It was named by the Muslim ruler who came here. mythology, and he named this as Heavenly Place. Even though no development was done here, the plague came and then everything got destroyed. And Gaur is basically, most of the ruins are in India, but few of them are in Bangladesh. So let's see what's there next. Okay, so next location is a tower or a minar. So this tower's name is Firoz Minar because it was built by Saifuddin Firoz. And we are not confirmed that it was built by Saifuddin Firoz because according to sources, it was probably built by Saifuddin Firoz, who became the Sultan by killing Barabas Shah. And this tower is 25.60 meters tall, and it has 73 spiral staircases. We're prohibited to climb upwards. So just look at the tower. It's so gorgeous. The architecture is so different. And it's from the 1486 AD. So let's go to the next one now. So guys, let me share a small story with you. So behind the statue of Sri Chaitanya, who is very famous among the people of India. So one of the locals, and most of the locals over here, told us a story that once upon a time, long ago, during the Delhi Sultan period, Bengal Sultan period, when the Sultan people were looking over here, the sultans and stuff. So Sri Chaitanya came here to popularize the religion, his faith, his belief. And that time he was arrested by the Sultan ruler over there, and he was put into that jail called the Chika Masjid. I forgot to tell you that it was also used as a jail. So there he was captured and kept, and the people over here believe that God himself had saved Sri Chaitanya from there, and he managed to go from there. So that's the story. So let's just see what's there next. So here next we have a gate, which is the northern entrance to the fort of Gaur, and it's known as the Dakhil Darwaza or the Salami Darwaza. It was possibly built by Barbar Shah in the 1425 AD, and we tell it's possibly because we really don't know if it was actually built by him, because there were many more rulers and any of them could build, but the evidences which we get tells us it was built by him. So you can take a look of that magnificent gate, and it was used as a main entrance to the Gaur fort. So the architecture over here is a very different kind of architecture. We have some flowers, that triangles. And here we have the entrance to the Dakhil Darwaza. You can see there are some, there inside we have some small areas which you can get into. Let's go to the next one now. Okay guys, so this is the last and final location, and behind me is the Barodwari Mosque or the Barzona Mosque. So what is this Barodwari Mosque? In Bengali, Baro means 12, or in other languages also, Baro means 12. So this was meant that Barodwari, Dwar as we all know means door. So this mosque is said to have 12 doors, even though there are only 11 openings. We really don't know the reason why this was named Barodwari. And it was named Barzona because all the three arcs had domes, although all of them are now domeless. It was built by Sultan Nazrat Shah in the 1526 AD, and there were three gates to this, out of which only the eastern one now remains as its original, or of course a little broken or not like the original one, but still we can make out that it was a door to a mosque. In the southeast side we have a gallery where maybe the priest used to offer the prayers to the god, or used to call the god, as we all know what happens in a mosque. Whatever happens, it used to happen on the eastern side, there's a place, and then on the western side, on the northern side, we have a ladies' gallery, which only the remain now, and that's what you can see. It had doorways, out of which all of them are domeless now, and that is the reason why they call it a Great Golden Mosque, because the architecture is really different over here. So as I told you, this is the final clipping of my video. I hope you enjoyed this whole video, and I'm really grateful to bring you all to this wonderful world of old archaeological sites located in Gaur in the Malda district of West Bengal, in the northern part of West Bengal in India. I hope you liked this video and you enjoyed my way how I explain everything to you all. Please don't forget to like this video and share this video to everyone so that we can spread the word about this place and get some more tourists, so that all of them can enjoy this beautiful Indian history we have here. And don't forget to subscribe my channel and click on the bell icon to receive new notifications whenever I post new videos. Stay tuned to my channel for more new videos. I will be back soon with more of them. And till then, have a great time. Bye. And one thing, don't forget to comment for anything you need. Just take a final look of this wonderful place. Bye guys.